Hi there, my name's Christopher, and I love Tekken. I love playing it, I love watching Tekken videos, I mainly love Armor King and Regular King. And King is my favorite video game character ever. I started playing him in Tekken Tag 2, but I don't really know what I was doing, same as in Tekken 7. And I wanted to make a video on his best moves. I wanted to go through like his top 10 moves initially, but because he has so many moves, possibly the most of any video fighter game character ever, I'm going to instead do a tier list and place it all on where I think it should be. From S tier, you can abuse these moves all day, down to niche tier. These moves are really strong if you place them really well. They're very situational, all these kinds of things. So I have been asking Little Margin to make a video like this for a while now. He made one for King and Armor King on Tekken 7. He hasn't gotten around to Tekken 8 yet. Figured I'd make one myself, start a dialogue on what we reckon as King mains, fighting Kings, playing Kings, what his best moves are. Again, just progressing through these moves, I'm just going to number them, but really we're going to put them on a tier list. So, down, forward, 4. So it's a good fast low poke at 14 frames, practically unseeable. They'd have to guess that it's coming. Even on block, it's not that offensive. We'll do a crouch and block. It's only minus 14. Some characters can launch that, Eddie, Kazuya, for example, but they'd have to guess that it's coming, essentially. But one of the main reasons why I love it so much is due to its down forward 4, then 3 extension. It's a high, and a lot of people will duck this provided they know it's coming. However, if you knock them on the floor, and you go for it because they decide to do an action after that, you're gonna continue your combo, which is pretty solid. So being a fast low poke that floats and isn't launch punishable by the vast majority of the cast, I'd say it's a pretty solid move. Definitely in his top 10. So we'll place it in the A- strong. Again, S tier, you can abuse these, throw out these all day. A+, very, very strong if you place them properly. A is just very strong in general. They have some drawbacks to them. A-, definite drawbacks, don't forget about them. And niche tier is, don't forget about these moves at all. If you place them well, and they're very situational, you can find a lot of rewards from them. Coming up next, his forward 4. One of his best homing moves for sure, being a mid and low crushes. So this absolutely has its place, because let's say you're King and you're running up to him and you want to do a Shining Wizard, for example, or even just like a run-up giant swing, then they might expect to duck, or if they're a higher level, they might even sidestep. But just running up and doing one of these bad boys is a pretty solid option just to keep them locked in position. So good players will sidestep block, but this will catch more players than it won't. And it being a low crushing mid homing move, pretty fantastic. However, again, place it correctly because you will get floated. Many times I've been floated out of this for a third of my life. So as a result, forward 4, we're going to place it in the A- strong tier for sure. We'll place these correctly at the end, but this is where it lives for now. Coming up next is while running 3. Pretty fantastic move, giving that it grants a forward 4 or even a shoulder, I believe, on hit. Pretty amazing move. It's solid because on block as well, it still gives +3, I believe, which a lot of the times will set up for something like this or something like this just instead. I love doing something like that. You could even do it again if you have the execution, and if you're closer to a wall, then they're really not going to want to challenge you when they're negative. And they don't have to be negative much. So, while running 3 is an absolutely solid move to use. One of the reasons why I probably wouldn't spam it all the time is because it's pretty steppable to both ways. And provided the enemy knows how to do a back-turned combo, then it might be game over for you. So, just be mindful that it is pretty linear. And it's not that hard to step. That's where you'd use a forward 4, but definitely watch where you place this. I'd probably place it in the strong tier. I probably wouldn't go very strong with it, being it's super linear and it's kind of telegraphed, but Provided you use it well, I think it's a fantastic move. Coming up next, easily his best low in the game. Forward, neutral 2. One of the only lows that he has that's that plus on hit, being +5, which sets up his throw game amazingly. So if you time it just right, you can actually get a blue spark out of this. I'll try again. There we are. Which is pretty cool. You can also mix it up with something else. I play on a Halt pad, by the way. It's fairly easy to do these blue sparks with SOCD cleaning. This is an R16. Its range is pretty amazing, especially the fact that you could just buffer it. And it has, it works really well out of crouch dashes as well. So you can do this from pretty damn far away. Like so. That's amazing. Its best property though is obviously its counter hit properties. Being a 50 damage, 100% scaled, no grey health. I'm pretty sure this used to be a combo starter in Tekken 7. But even still, if you're in rage, you get a 55 counter hit one of these. This move can carry you pretty far. His best low sets up his throw game really well. You can do it into itself, provided you have the execution, and they might try ducking or sidestepping. And that's where this comes in. Really strong move. Really love forward, neutral 2 here. For now, we'll place his forward, neutral 2 in very strong. Almost an obnoxiously strong low. Coming up next, probably his best homing move is forward, 1. Now, you can't really buffer this at all because you have to do a forward move. But it does have quite a lot of range. Let's say about 3.8 or so, about right here. Has quite a lot of range. There have been some times where I've been a little overzealous in the 4 range and I've gone for something like this and just whiffed. And then I get launched for half my life. One of the best properties it has is that it floats as well into a combo. Not a full combo, but enough. So this is a pretty solid move. Again, doesn't have its counter hit combo, full combo like it did in Tekken 7, but the fact that it has a lot of range, and even on block, I believe it's -5, which is not bad, honestly. Could be way worse. You see, with forward 4, his other really good homing move, it's -9, and a lot of mistakes I see some King players make is try to press after that. It's not your turn. Don't press after forward 4. Another really good thing about it as well, on counter hit, it guarantees a ground throw attempt. Or if you don't want to go for the ground throw, you'd rather go for something safer. Pretty sure that's guaranteed as well. And if you're fast enough, pretty sure that's guaranteed. So being one of his best engagement tools, we're going to put forward 1 in his very strong tier. One of his better moves to engage with for sure. Coming next on the list, probably his 5th best move, his Jaguar Sprint. Now, I'm looking at it in totality because he has multiple options. He has like 5 options out of his Jaguar Sprint. I'm going to look at it all in totality because it sets up the mind games for everything else to come, and I'd like to demonstrate how. Just right off the rip, his Jaguar Sprint forward 3+4 into 4. It's pretty hard to see. You can't low parry it, and it's even harder to punish. You have to do like a crouch, cancel, stand while rising back into your regular pickup. The best thing you could probably do with most characters is just do something like this. And 17 damage for something that does 20 and something that you can't parry. Now, that's just the low. And again, I'm not going to go into every option out of his Jaguar Sprint, but if they start respecting the low, then you can go for the mid, which Jaguar Sprint 1 is damn near unseeable. They have to guess if you're going for the mid. But where Jaguar Sprint really shines is your enhanced state in heat. Suddenly, you tank all hits that isn't an unblockable or a low or a grab. Or you could let it charge to get your enhanced properties, something like this. And then 70 damage is pretty amazing. You automatically enter it after you've used your heat. So they have to do another mix-up. They practically have to guess right twice. As a Season 2, there are multiple ways to enter Jaguar Sprint. Most common being Wild Rising 2-2, Charged 3-2-2, or just simply forward 3+4. There are some combos where you could skip out on his guaranteed combo and risk even greater potential damage, such as his down forward 2-1 combo. Into mix-up where they have to guess what's happening. However, you could still get a lot of value out of not even being in heat and just doing something like this a lot. Again, bear in mind if you're in your enhanced heat state, you can be grabbed out of any option that you do, and you won't be able to take it. So the stance itself, not its moves that comes out of it, we're going to put this in very strong. Coming up next, probably the reason why you wanted to play Kings in his first place, his amazing grabs. They're so fun, they feel so good to use. Having an ambiguous Shining Wizard look exactly like a Giant Swing, both looking like 1+2 breaks. And you can mix it up into a running Giant Swing. I'm not going to rate each grab its own tier, we're just going to look at it all in totality. Just the fact that some of these things he could do, like go for a Giant Swing into 70 damage at the wall. You can't get that life either, and let's say you're at the wall and you're being pressured and you do a plus move into a Giant Swing. They've already lost a lot of health. They're not getting that health back. It only takes one of two of those interactions to completely win. There'll be times where I've versed the King and I've comboed him like twice and he's just gotten a really good Giant Swing into me in the wall and that's it, I'm dead. And those are just regular simple input throws, but when we look at his chain throws, that's where things really get interesting because they truly have to guess what's coming next. He has some of the most punishing moves you can do out of this. Obviously the most punishing chain throws you can do in the game is on King. So many players will know that the rolling death cradle is a 2-break, so a lot of the time they'll just go for the 2-break instead, or for example the King's Bridge is a 1+2 break, so they'll just go for that because they don't want to risk losing that much life, so that gives you the opportunity to do other throws instead, which still do quite a bit of damage. But as King, there's so many opportunities to do throws, either being out of a crouch grab, either being out of a Jaguar step, from plus frames. Probably one of the reasons why he got into King in the first place, because when these throws land, they feel so good. Could be frustrating to play against if you don't have any good throw breaks, but as of Season 2, they've released a throw escape training, but we won't get into that. When Tekken 8 first came out, every character had homing throws. They thought that was a little too strong, fair enough. So they made it so that only King and Armor King have homing throws in their heat state. And it mainly relates to their Shining Wizard, or their Giant Swing, or their Tier 1 Twister. Pretty contentious decision, but good for us Kings. Just like every throw though, they are high, so they can be ducked and launched. And even if you land it, there's still a chance that they'll break it. Provided they have good throw breaks, they can break the throw anyway. So I'd recommend not spamming these out all the time, because if you do that, you can be predictable and be punished pretty hard as a result. So his grabs as a whole, we'll put it in the A+ tier. You place these correctly, you'll give anyone a hard time. Coming up next, his shove. Forward, neutral, 1+2. You should be spamming this move a lot. Other than the fact that it's delayable, it's bufferable, so you can do it right after itself, provided you have the execution. And as it has poor range, as in if they backdash away from it, it won't hit it, but you can delay the neutral and the 1+2 input. Not that much, maybe something more like that. Being 9 frames, +7 on hit. Obviously, its best property is its counter hit utility, which gives a back 3 guaranteed, or his heat engager. This is a pretty solid move you could use all the time. And because it's a forward input, you can't really step it unless they have some incredible timing. But it does recover very quickly. Another amazing feature of this move is it also floats into a little mini combo. Gotta be happy with that. So again, it being bufferable, delayable, 9 frames, this easily has to go straight into the S tier. Abuse the hell out of this move. So, next up on the list is down forward 1. Pretty amazing move as it has a natural combo when you press 2 after it. For 30 damage, that's pretty damn good, and it leaves you with some amazing frames at +5. Has some amazing range, just under 2.5, let's say. Character dependent, but you'll still get the hit, which again, naturals into your second one. One of its only issues is it can be stepped to King's weak side, his left side, by sidestepping right. The second hit is delayable. And if the first hit lands, they actually can't interrupt anything. They can't jab out of it, they can't step out of it, even on block. Again, being +5, even if they try to step, if you do something like Giant Swing, which is 10 frames, it'll still catch them, which is fantastic. It also floor breaks if you catch them airborne, which is pretty cool. The frames are good enough where you could do down forward 1 into down forward 1, provided they're not stepping. Being really good damage, and the second hit is actually pretty damn delayable. Like, there's been heaps of times where I'm really low and my opponent's really low, and they just want to get back in the fight, and I have them against the wall or something, and then I do a down forward 1 delayed into down forward 2 right as they're about to do something, and it kills them. Feels amazing when that happens. So with all of those properties, we're going to go ahead and place down forward 1 into S tier. Absolutely abuse this. Solid move. Okay, no surprises here. Coming in at the very top of the list is down forward 2. Now, this move has been the same since Tekken 7, a fast 13 frame mid on counter hit launcher and confirmable. For example, if you see this purple spark in the middle of the screen and you see counter come up, look for the purple spark though. The second hit is guaranteed into a combo. Arguably, in my opinion, King's most important thing to know is down forward 2-1 combo. There'll be many times where you screw it up, but it's all a beauty of the practice, where if you just keep practicing it, you literally get the timing down in your brain. You could do it in your sleep. It does get a little tricky with the smaller characters, female characters for example, where they have smaller frames, so you have to do a micro dash before you can convert the down forward 4-3, and it sort of looks something like this, provided I get it. First try. Hell yeah. Now, even if people don't know that much about King, they'll still be scoping this second high. They'll look to duck that second high and punish you for half your life, just about. But you can just set up the mind game where you don't use it. You can just do down forward 2 into down forward 2. This move may as well be homing as well, because it tracks to both his left and his right side. If you do sidestep left as well. Or even sidestep right. You're always going to catch them if they try step. Now I find in the lower ranks, like I play in Tekken King, when they sidestep, they don't always sidestep block. So you can probably go for the 1 and still get the combo off without it being a counter hit because they're not holding back. Like so. Ah, well, mucked up the end. Let's say you actually get it right. I didn't need to waffle on too long about this move. His best move, such a fast counter hit launcher for 76 damage on counter hit. Can provide you with many opportunities, even just to wig the opponent out. You'll see people like the John, or Lil Margin, or Book just throw out this move constantly, fishing for the counter hit. Such an amazing move. Also floats in midair, which is a pretty solid move. This one goes right to the very top. We'll place it right there. Yeah, that's where it belongs. And last, but certainly not least, is Muscle Armor, his new addition in Tekken 8. They did kind of change his identity to be this brawler, Oki King, wrestler, to be this muscle man in Tekken 8, but we eat him pretty well because of it. It's a very strong move. Starts up in like 6 frames, lasts for a whole 60 frames, pretty sure you can cancel it after like 30 or so. You can tank pretty much anything that isn't a rage art, or a low, or a grab, which comes in handy a lot of the times. It's like a pressure tool to not touch you from range, or to just respect your space. It'll also eat through any heat burst or armor move. And even on block it's -9, which is pretty cool. It's not punishable. Now good players will try to grab you out of it, or low you out of it, because the grab can't be teched, and the low will always just knock you out of armor. Another neat thing that I don't really see too much, because sometimes it happens on accident, is that it also floats, which is pretty nice. Which can then go into something like this. Pretty situational, but this can and has happened before. 91 damage by something like that, and even if you just went through the whole thing. Like that. One of the best parts I feel is that not many people are going to have like throws on their mind unless they're playing a grappler like King or Armor King anyway. So you really can throw this out like a lot. Especially if you're in this like 3 to 4 range against the Brian, a lot of the times they're going to try and challenge you with their quarter circle back 1, and you can just eat it, the entire thing, just by doing a muscle armor. And has a long recovery time as well. So it's a pretty good move to use, even on reaction. One other thing that I don't know if too many kings know about is that you can access your running stance by pressing 3+4 while you're in muscle armor. And you have access to his full Jaguar sprint stance. Good little tip to psych people out is when you're in heat, go into your muscle armor, then press 3+4 to go into your Jaguar sprint, and then try using your heat smash. See what that's like. They might duck out of fear, they might step out of fear, but give that a crack. Elephant in the room, it's a pretty contentious move. A lot of people don't agree with a lot of muscle armor's properties. Some people think it should be counter hit. I'm not going to get into any of that. For me, I'm going to be placing it up here. Throw out this a lot, abuse muscle armor. Next up on the list is forward 3. Absolutely pretty solid move. It's one of his best mid checks. It does have a 1+2. Used to be just frame, but they've made it quite lenient. Goes into this. 38 damage is pretty good. The sad thing is, it doesn't have any of the Oki properties that it did in Tekken 7. For example, if they ate this and stood up right away, they'd get a forward 2-1, and they'd have to eat it. Like so. You can't even get, I don't think you can even get like an alley kick or anything now. Nah, you can't get any of that. But even if you don't hit the just frame, not really a just frame, 15 frames for 18 damage is pretty solid for a mid, but you're almost always going to be spamming 1+2 after you hit it. It's good to just like run up to the enemy's face and just chill for a sec, and then non-immediate timing, just throw this out. They might be expecting a grab, or they might try sidestepping. Unfortunately, if they do sidestep, it's actually a very linear move. He caught me that time. And you can step it to both ways. Got me that time. You'll see a lot of good king players use this move a lot just because of this property. Not even on counter hit, just regular hit. But again, the fact that it's pretty linear and doesn't have that much range, watch out, place it correctly, and you'll go pretty far with it. So I'm going to place it in very strong. I'd place it in A+, if it were like Tekken 7 and you'd have the incredible Oki options after it. But he doesn't, so he won't. Next up on the list is back 1-2, which also goes into back 1-4, just in case they're expecting the high, because they're both highs. The really good thing about this is that it's 12 frames, and on counter hit, gives a mini combo. You'll see something like this a lot. What sucks is that in Tekken 7, it used to be a straight combo launcher. Straight counter hit, 12 frame launcher. However, there's a lot of reasons to use this, other than being the fact that it's 12 frames. On hit, it'll give you +5, which sets up your throws really well. Anything that's 5 and above, you already know. We just go straight into throws. So it comes out in 12 frames and also is 13 frames for punishment. King doesn't have a -13. Let's say you're Armor King, you'd press 4 and 3. But not a bad move. What sucks is that they're both highs. So you can be absolutely eaten alive for doing something like this. Just some staple combo, something like this. It'd be rare that you just like launch just in the neutral back 1-2. You can just go for something simple like this, which will give you what? 61 damage? That's pretty solid. You can get a lot of wall carry with it. You can activate heat with it just by going just a couple extra steps, like, which I demonstrated earlier. Little micro dash there just to make sure it catches. And yeah, so on and so forth. So I wouldn't always just throw it out. You could stop at the first one a lot of the times and you'll still be good. It is a natural hit combo, which is very nice, but I wouldn't use it as a panic button because they're both highs, and any high crushing move can stuff this up pretty bad. I will hand it to it though, has some pretty amazing range. He takes a step forward anytime he goes to do it. So let's say you're at 2.5, that'll hit. What about a little bit more than that? 2.8, I don't think so. Maybe like 2.6. Yeah. He almost kind of teleports. So, a lot of range. Yeah, 2.8. That's amazing. Kind of teleports. So, really good range. Both highs though, so be careful. He lost his back one combo starter, but this is still pretty good for your throws. So, being a mini combo launcher, has decent range. Both highs, not that punishable. -12 is still pretty good. I'll place it in, let's see. Yeah, 12 frames. It is very fast, and it does, again, like teleport him. I'll place it in A+. Place it properly, you'll get pretty far with it. Next up, one of my personal favorites. Full crouch down forward 2. An unbelievable move for so many reasons. So, first up, it has ridiculous range. You can stand at about 2.5, 2.5 or so. Maybe about right there. And he just like teleports for some reason. Now you just saw before it's high crushing, so it'll go anything under a high. It's fast at 15 frames, and it's not even launch punishable by like 90% of the cast. It's -14. Very few players can actually launch that, and it's up to the character's execution if they can do that as well. But one of my absolute favorite things to do with this move specifically is try to bait them out into, because you could use it as a whiff punish. So let's say you're at about this range and they're going to try to hit you with something. Now in this case it's not going to be a back 1-2 from a king, but you can use it because of its like teleporting properties as a whiff punishment tool. Now you'll actually catch people off guard with this, because when you jump and land, you're for a split second in a crouch state. So if you just hold down forward and 2 when you land, you do an instant gut punch. It's when it hits, man, it's like ecstasy. It's ecstatic. It just feels amazing because it has such good range. Not launch punishable by the vast majority of the cast. Yeah, right here. Probably one of his like second strongest launcher, because he has the 3-2 extension combo. You can do much more damage than this, but the fact that he has something like this, something crazy like that, just on tap with something like this, unbelievable move. One of my favorite. Actually, I'm gonna say it. This is my favorite launcher. Straight up favorite launcher. Do a sidestep into that, or again, give it a crack. A jump into that. People are not gonna expect it unless they verse you more than once, but you will catch. You can catch everyone with this at least once. One last thing you can do here. Let's say you've conditioned them so when you press forward 2-1 and it lands, you run up and grab them. So they'll just want to duck instead. With Beyond Season 2 patches, you can now enter your heat state from a running crouched stance, which sort of looks like this. And he's crouched. You can hold down forward 2 to do the gut punch straight into it. And if you read that they'll duck, you can get some big damage by doing this as well. Really great launcher, great range, excellent whiff punish tool, but it is -14. So if you keep doing this, you will lose your life slowly by doing this. So I'm going to put it in A-. It is a very strong, well, it's not very strong. It's strong when it works, but it's pretty risky. You have to have a good read to use it well. Next up on the tier list, his jabs. Man, King's jabs are so strong in this game. Like, I don't know very many of the cast who have a 10 frame 25 damage punish. I think Flash Punch does, is 25 damage for example, but the fact that it's +8, that's all your throws all day, even the slower ones. Like, it's fantastic to do, but his jabs are just an amazing pressure tool. Granted, they're highs, and that's okay. But here's some of the stronger jabs in the game. Like, you still will catch sometimes with a 1-2-1 into the throw. That will catch some people sometimes, and if they go try to duck instead, you can do the crouch throw instead. That's unbreakable. But part of his 10 string is that you can keep the jabs going. Now, if they are blocked, the further into the combo that you go, the more damaging the punishment is. So you can be launched for doing something like 5 hits and they block all of it. But like every jab in this game, it floats. They're strong. His ones especially, because he has the ability to buffer all of his throws. Don't sleep on his jabs. Absolutely amazing. It's also good to know that if they think that you're only going to do 2 jabs and you end up doing the third and the third hits him, like so, you get 2-1 for free. So 37 damage, pretty chunky. Like every jab in this game, they're highs. Many of them can be parried, so be careful where you use them, but you'll see a lot of the pros use it to set up like a giant swing, or if they expect the duck, something like that, or even... Sky's the limit when it comes to the jabs. Don't get them crushed, don't get them parried, and you can use them all day. We're going to place these in the very strong, so they are very strong. Heaps of frames, very good damage, strong 10 frame punish. Yeah, his jabs are awesome. Alright, next up on the list is Clothesline, forward 1+2. Has some pretty damn good range, 16 frames, so it has some pretty amazing range, which makes it great as a whiff punching tool. Let's say you're like in this range, like so, and you go make ultimate do that. Guarantees an alley kick. Pretty sure it guarantees a down back 3 as well. My only issue with it is a lot of the times when I'd want to be using it, I could just forward 2-1 whiff punch instead. And if I'm running with it, a lot of the times they're going to expect the throw, so they might duck it. But this is an absolutely solid whiff punishment tool, really quick, and something that'll happen by itself or by way of accident is it actually floats as well. This will happen if you use this move quite a little bit. And it's actually a pretty strong float. So that's pretty nice. It's a pretty niche move. I don't know if I'd use it all the time, but definitely has its place if you use it well. Don't forget about it. Don't sleep on it. Pretty good move. We're going to put this in the niche tier. Up next on the list is up back 1, water parting chop. The reason why I really love this move is it guarantees a shoulder. So that only does that only does 25 damage by itself, and there's no follow-up. Unless you're at the wall, for example, then it wall splats. But this does so much damage. And even on block, I believe it's -3. Which is pretty good. You don't exactly lose your turn unless you try something crazy. But -3 and the fact that it guarantees a follow-up is really strong in my opinion. Just like his other 2 homing moves on this list, it also does wall splat, which is nice to have. And yeah, 20 frames, pretty quick, pretty solid. Has, you know, evasion, steps to his left, guarantees a shoulder. I like this move. Don't forget about it. It's pretty niche. You won't really find too many opportunities to use it if you're mainly going to be using something like this or something like that. But it's nice to mix up your moves every now and then, keep the opponent guessing, so don't forget about the water parting chop. Up back 1. Absolute definition of the niche tier. Coming up next is Jaguar Step back. All forward, but mainly back. Now this move eats and it feeds. There's been so many times from so many King players where they've eaten a heat smash or a rage up because they just Jaguar stepped at the wrong time. One of its better properties though is it low crushes. So you can do something like this into just like a regular combo. You know what these look like. Or you can just do a regular combo. Something like that, but better. Also sets up your chain throws, you know, all of that. It's also pretty good to make them whiff something if they're truly out of range. Definitely know where to place this, because you will be eating so much damage. Thankfully a lot of it's scaled, and you can get it back because it's grey health. But you'd rather not have it, and it is a pretty bad panic button to have, especially when you're at the wall and you're not sure what else to do. Don't do it. Solid move, just be careful where you put it. We're going to put it in the niche tier again. It works when it works, but when it doesn't, it's painful. Now this next move is very situational, but I wouldn't forget about it because it has its places. For example, if there are times where I'm coming up against a Mishima player and the first thing they like to do is flash punch to start, rather than launch, what I can do is instead, just one of these bad boys. One of his highest damaging combos. Feels so good when it works. High crushing. It's great. The only thing about it though, which is kind of a big one, it's like negative a billion. Negative 24, they could throw whatever the hell they want at you. Now, it's risky as hell, but there have been times where I'm like, I reckon the opponent thinks I'm going to do a down forward 2. So they think they're going to do a jab to beat the down forward 2. So I crush under it and do my combo. You really have to know, you have to have a hard read on when you do this. It'll very rarely work when you go up and just do it like that because they can fuzzy duck it, but knowing when to use this, if they really like to use their highs and jab check you all the time, it's a pretty solid option. Just know, if you place it wrong, you're gonna lose half your life. But the risk versus reward, the thrill is there. You gotta try it. Super niche. I freaking love it, but be very careful where you place it because, yeah, dangerous as hell. When it works, my gosh. When it doesn't, oh, you're feeling bad. Next up on the list is forward 2-1 heat engager. Absolutely solid. We discussed before that off a counter hit shove, it's guaranteed, which is pretty cool. So it's probably his best whiff punishment tool because it sets up something like this. Has a ton of range and you start your combos and all of that, provided they don't press or they press. It's also a pretty good 15 frame launcher. There are some characters where they're like negative 15 or negative 20, but they're so far back that you can't actually hop kick them, for example. One of the moves from this Kazuya is like this. That's a punish. I think Paul has one of them as well. Ram might have one of them. But yeah, it's pretty solid. I'd watch where and when you use this because there are players who will duck this, and it's not necessarily a mix-up going for the down 1-2 extension. It can be fuzzyable, but if you land it, 79 damage is pretty beefy. But one of its best tools that it is negative 11 on block, but no one will punish this because you can delay the second hit quite a lot, and you also can delay this hit as well. But just be very mindful if you were to go for that extension, because negative 15. A lot of people know that that's launchable, so careful where you use it. Forward 2-1, solid, good whiff punishment from range, natural combo and hit, and wall splats, so you can get something like this off. So yeah, pretty good. Utilize this for what it is as a good whiff punishment tool, and I'd say it's pretty strong. We'll put it in the niche because both options out of it are punishable. You can barely step it though, so there's that. Coming towards the end of the list, probably one of King's very few useful strings, his 3-2-2 string. Plus 9 when you charge it up, negative 13 if you don't, negative 9 if you don't. So the second is safe. Almost everyone's going to respect the third hit, but sometimes players will know about it and they will try to interrupt, so you can just let it rip. The best part is, even on charge or on hit, you will go into your Jaguar Sprint stance and they have to respect it, unless they Rage Art or Heat Burst through it, for example. But what is nice about it is it floor breaks. So you can do something like this instead if you know you're not going to land on the floor, and then continue your combo. So it's also his only wall ender, and it's a pretty amazing one at that. Let's say you're about this distance away from a breakable floor or a floor explosion, a stage gimmick, and you do something like, then that's just crazy damage for what it is. Plus, at the wall, just like this, it sets up his Jaguar Sprint again. And in heat, this is probably like the most toxic thing I find about King, is in heat, we'll make him like that. You start the whole thing again, and if they don't duck because they're scared of taking one of these, my gosh, 3-2-2, kind of risky to use out in the neutral, but you should be ending just about every combo with it, provided you're at the wall. Pretty niche. We're going to put it up here though, at the very start of the niche. Strong when it's useful. Okay, second last. Down 3. An actually solid low that he has. A lot of the time you see the higher player, king players do some pokes and then one of these. And because it's +1, it also, again, you can set up your throws pretty well. It's rare to have a low that makes it your turn again. Unless they do some evasive move or what have you. But there's not too much to say about this. It is pretty good if they're on the floor and they want to try rolling, for example. But it's nice just to get in another little bit of damage, just like 9 damage at the end of a combo, for example. It's pretty good. I would use it sparingly. 17 frames, you can kind of see it coming, but you'd have to have King's animations down, really up there to see it coming and low parry it. It isn't high crushing, but it's still your turn after it, so pretty good, pretty niche, don't forget about it. Nice, quick, easy one. In the niche tier, about there. Which leads to our lucky last, down 4. Now, this is an incredibly fast low at 14 frames. It does not a whole lot of damage, just 6 damage, so they're not really going to respect it, but is one of his better lows just because you straight up can't see it coming. The main issue with it though, in this game, it's -15. That's launch punishable by everybody. So I'd be very careful, but they shouldn't see this coming. If they see this coming, they either guessed it, or you're not using enough mids, or you're using too many highs or too many grabs. So place this properly and you'll get what it's worth. I can't place it any higher than niche tier just because it is launch punishable at -15. I don't think it was that in Tekken 7. I think it was -13 in 7, but -15 in this is pretty rough. But that's what you get when you get a really fast low, damn near unseeable. You can also do it from a crouching stance as well, full crouch down 4, or just down 4 regular. They both do the same amount of damage, but nice and fast low. Good just to poke them out a little bit. Start respecting the mids and all of that. Pretty solid to wrap it up. I'll put it behind D3. And now if we look at the list as itself, I'll keep down forward 1 in S tier abuse. I wouldn't abuse the 2 extension because you still lose 20 to 25 life every time. And the players will adapt if you start to delay it or any of that kind of stuff, but that's like your main go-to other than down forward 2. Your straight up pokes are down forward 2 and down forward 1. Your shoves are looking for a good juicy counter hit. Your muscle armor is when you're expecting something, you have a good read and you'll get your heat off of it. He has the best grabs in the game. He lost his back 1 counter hit, but still, his back 1-2 still pretty juicy at 12 frames. His best low in the game, probably his best homing move in the game. What? Really funny addition is Jaguar Sprint. I really love forward 3. You know, the guaranteed 1+2 is pretty good. His jabs give... he lost a lot of Oki from forward 3 though. His jabs, amazing plus frames, really solid damage. Down forward 4, I like how you can... It's not that punishable and how you can continue combos if they try any wake-up moves. Forward 4, I actually really love his homing move a lot, but I just don't like how it gets floated a lot, hence why it's down here. While running 3, steppable, but sets up his throw game really well. Full crouch down forward 2. Strong, amazing, long-range whiff punisher. And the rest here in niche. Now, I just want to reiterate that this is just my opinion on what I think his best moves are, at least in a tier list form. Started off as like a top 10, I'm like, wow, this guy has so many moves. It's really hard to order them, so at least put him in a tier list to allow for more moves. I've even sent this to my friends who also main King. Think, what do you think about this list? And the main reason why I made this video was to kind of start a dialogue on what King's best moves are, what his funnest moves are, his best feel-good moves are, essentially. And I feel like if you watch any professional King player, mainly the John and Booker, for example, they're going to use these moves a lot of the times. I think a lot of King players as well is going to have a similar list. I'm by no means a great Tekken player. I'm on my way, I feel like. If I'm versing mirror matches, for example, I feel I can hang with the pretty high ranked dudes, but I think rank is just a mindset of how much time you have to play and how bothered you are of learning matchups and all these things. But again, love the game. Really hope Lil Margin makes his own King top 10 video, because it's been a long time now since he's made one like this, and I don't feel like there's any nerfs or buffs coming soon up until like mid-year, perhaps. So that's all I wanted to say on it. What do you think of the list? Do you think anything was placed incorrectly? Was there a critical move that I missed? Let me know. I'd appreciate it. Have a good one.